Let's bring on our political panel. Republican strategist Cliff Maloney. He's also the CEO of Citizens Alliance. Alongside him is host of the 13-minute news hour, Bobby Eberle, also the chairman of the Fort Bend County Republican Party in Texas. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. Bobby, we'll start with you. We're often hearing throughout these raids that it's unfair to target farm workers because they're stocking store shelves with produce. Congressman Jimmy Gomez of California posting this on X, quote, Trump said he'd go after bad hombres, but he's targeting the immigrant farm workers who feed America. Either he lied or he can't tell the difference, unquote. Bobby, ICE is targeting illegal migrants at a state-licensed weed farm. One of those farms also now under investigation for child labor violations, as we just heard in Heather's report in California. I want to get your thoughts on this entire situation and how it's also being played out in the media.
Sure. I mean, from the very beginning, as soon as the president said he was going to crack down, the left has been on the offensive and trying to spin this in a way that has inflamed the situation. As we can see with these raids, the officers are actually getting attacked. Some are getting shot at. We saw footage I saw today of vehicles leaving and they're getting pelted with rocks and bricks. Every one of those people should be arrested. But the fact is, Tom Homan made it clear. Yes, they're going to go after the worst of the worst, but anyone here illegally is breaking the law. Anyone here illegally needs to be deported. And poll after poll after poll, regardless if it's ABC, CBS, they show the American people by a majority, not a plurality, want all illegals deported, and the president is doing that job.
Cliff, as we just heard in that report as well, you had Governor Newsom reacting on X. He said, quote, kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum. So this back and forth with the name calling here from the governor. But obviously the buck stops with him. He's the governor of California. Department of Homeland Security responding to Newsom on X, saying, quote, why are there children working at a marijuana facility, Gavin? Cliff, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I love that tweet from the Homeland Security. I think they're spot on. This is exactly what the majority of Americans voted for. If you're here illegally, we voted to make sure that you're sent out of the country. And here's the most wild part about all this. Gavin Newsom and the Democrats, they keep doubling down on a bad bet. They keep siding with illegals over the blue-collar, hardworking Americans. And I just think, you know, from a political perspective, I hope they never decide to pivot. I hope they continue on this of sticking with those folks, sticking with the protesters, when everyday Americans are just trying to pay their mortgage or put food on the table. It's wild to see them doubling down.
Bobby, and speaking of migrant children, here's the president earlier today talking about the ones who went missing under the Biden administration. Here's what he had to say about that.
And, you know, something that you should have that you haven't reported. As you know, 300,000 children are missing, right? 300,000 under Biden. We've already gotten back 10,000 of those children, and we have a lot more planned to come back. We're getting them back by the thousands, but 300,000, and we've, as of this morning, over 10,000 we've gotten back.
Bobby, just to kind of like tie a point off of that, the technology that was used to go into the phone of the Butler shooter, who we still don't know much about, that technology is also being used to help with these child exploitation cases. In terms of what we're seeing with the funding for DHS in this big, beautiful bill, how do you think the Trump administration is going to be able to track down all those missing children?
Well, I think if you're looking at this on a level of priority, I don't think there's a higher priority than getting these kids back and looking after children. To abuse a child, whether it's through work or sexual abuse or trafficking, is just the most horrible thing that there is. And anyone who is involved in doing that should go to jail and face the ultimate penalties. So whatever the president can do, and this story was so buried, 300,000 missing children because of Biden just let people in. They got the gotaways. They weren't vetted. Just let people in. These children disappeared. And you know they are in terrible, terrible conditions. So whatever technology can do, we should do it. And Cliff's absolutely right. I loved his point about the Democrats doubling down. It seems for the past year, any woke policy, any terrible policy, they're all on board. I hope they stay there.
Cliff, you have the anti-Israel activist Mahmood Khalil released from the immigration detention last month, filing a claim seeking $20 million in damages from the Trump administration. His lawyers claim his arrest and detention was politically motivated and the money would be used to help others who've been targeted. He did say he would get rid of the $20 million request if the Trump administration apologized and abandoned its policy. Should the Trump administration do either, Cliff?
No, they should not. They should double down. Once again, this is what the American people voted for. I understand he's got a green card. But at the end of the day, these are the types of people, they want to throw out these crazy $1 million settlements. Trump's in office. We've got our country back. And I think we need to continue to push to say, look, enough's enough. If you're here illegally, if you're doing illegal acts, we voted to make sure that America comes first. I think that's what the Trump administration is doing, and I'd encourage them to just keep it up.
All right, Cliff Maloney, Bobby Eberle, thank you both for being here. Appreciate you being on the panel on this Friday night.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.